Hello, my sweetie pie is sitting here on the living room floor, and the peas are pretty much over, and she's cleaning, we're pulling and picking, and there you can see a canner in the background there, and to get an idea how big those there dish pans are. Got 2 dish pans of peas yesterday, and a friend got 2 buckets, which would be about the same as a dish pan. They're 2-gallon buckets, and he took them home with him, so we don't have a picture of that. But anyway, she's sitting here cleaning the peas, getting ready to put away. I'm up here on the porch where I always generally start my videos to give you an idea of an overview of how things are progressing with as the things go on. Yeah, as you can see, it looks like it's going to rain, so I did figure I'd get out here and do a quick video before it starts. Down here in the front, and you can see the borage is in bloom. I believe that's what it's called. It comes up now every year. It's something I planted for the bees, and the things are going through the various stages. Some of the amaranth is coming up, and that comes up on its own now. I'm pulling the Asian vegetables, which are the yellow blooming things. They bolted once it got hot. And interplanted with that was red beets that gave it some cover and helped hold the moisture and create an environment for them to grow. Once I get them pulled out and given to the chickens, and they're already in the place that I haven't pulled, starting to take off. Strawberries are over, and I'll go down here and show you some of the peas from the center of the garden. I'm standing here. I didn't get quite down there yet, but right there I tried to count them. There's 77 persimmon seedlings. I transplanted in that tub there. Some, I don't know how many are in there. Of course, we have a hazelnut and some hazelnuts. We have pear trees that I did from seeds, quince trees, and I've been starting some sort of a grass. I can't remember what the name of it is. And then over across the way there's a whole bunch of mulberry trees I started from seeds. Quite easy to start. Quince are easy, pears are easy, persimmons are easy, and so are mulberries. The pawpaws, I think I got 1 pawpaw tree. They seem, I don't know what the trick is. Anybody knows? Let me know. But the seeds I got from a mail order, and they probably need to be placed in moist paper towels or soil. Okay, we'll go to the garden. Quick view down the strawberry rows, and here you can see the amaranth right there is starting to, I don't know if you can see, let's see if I can get it in there, a bloom coming. There's each head has a bloom. And of course here we are at a squash, and of course they're starting to bloom. And here, I'm sorry if it's moving some, there's some blooms on this pickle here. And we'll step in here to the raspberries, and of course here you can see raspberries are quite full. And of course here we got I don't know if you can see it there, but we got a baby squash. And I didn't get these trellised yet. Down at the end, the yard-long beans, I have a 10-foot trellis, and just didn't get the time yet. But you can see the blooms on the scarlet runners, and the bees, the bumblebees, really like the raspberries when they're in bloom. They try to hold still. Maybe you can get to see some of their emotion there. The last time I tried to do a clip with the bees, it didn't show. Here there's a row of peas, partially pulled and cleaned off, and when I choose to start pulling them, this row is a little better than half pulled. And of course you can see I got lots of weeds here, but The sweet potatoes are starting to, they really like this hot, humid, muggy weather. Today it's not real hot, but it is muggy. And they like corn, they like heat and humidity, heat and moisture. But the peas, when they quit blooming, it's too hot. I pull them out when their stalks are really good for the soil, high nitrogen. And of course beans are too, but these beans, they like the heat. And you can see they're quite full of blooms. And the rows need to be weeded. This one was a super yielding edible pod. I had 3 kinds. We have 3 rows there. And I'll do this one again next year. Edible pod peas. Those 2 had better flavor, but the productivity was much decreased. And then another row of beans and onions, which are somewhat weeded, and then the broccolis and the cabbages, and then a row of yellow beans for a friend that takes Coumadin. I guess I said it right, and can't eat things with green. Here we are, the gooseberry bush, man, that is going wild, and some flowers. The fig tree is starting to come back. Unfortunately, it's starting from the ground, and giving you a view of the herb bed from the lower side. Okay, I'm standing in the middle of that bed, and of course the raspberries are right there, and there's my quince tree. Now, I don't know, it is quite full of quince. It's so full that it's leaning over. I need to probably get a stake put in there. And sorry, I pushed the button and I cut it off. But it's so full of quince that it's leaning over. And this one is so full that the limbs are hanging down. And just to get an idea of what I'm talking about, kind of like rows of fish eggs on this plum tree. Cutting this one back seems to be the trick. It had plums before, but it always dropped them all off. And I cut probably 2/3 to 3/4 of this tree off, all the limbs down, and that seems to have helped the productivity of it. You can see the potatoes have grown quite a bit in a week's time. You know, the stalks are getting up there pretty good. Sweet potatoes are vining out real nicely. Hoed them this past week. The weeds come back anyway, and of course here we go. We're at the pepper row, and I don't know if you can see that, but this is a Chinese pepper. It's supposed to be extremely hot, and rows of different peppers, some weeds, and we have 3 rows of peppers, and a part row there, and 2 rows of eggplants, and of course weeds. The mulberries, there's a few on that tree yet, but the birds found them and cleaned them off. This is one of the later ones, but as soon as they get any color at all, and you can hear the bird in the background, they're cleaning them off. Well, that's the bottom garden. This year has been an unusual year. It's been unusually cold, and it's cool even for almost the 4th of July. But many of the things with the cold holding on so long bloomed extremely late. And of course I showed you the plum tree, but the nut clusters on the trees are like so many that the limbs are actually hanging down and touching the ground. Never have I had trees droop like that before. For a year that I would have thought would have been extremely unproductive, I've had more peas than I've ever had grown in my life. The plums are full, and the nut trees are really full too.